Hey, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. And welcome to Let's Go for a Walk. I want to start by, of course, muting my YouTube channel over here and then sending an invitation out to a few friends. I got to give a shout out to Todd McCormick because it really was his idea. He was kind of like, we should do a holiday show. It would be cool if we did a holiday show. And I am in full agreement, Todd. I think we should do a holiday show. And here we are doing it right now. I'm going to send out a couple of links so some people can come and share some stories with us. And man, I'll tell you, I barely made it. I was literally 41 minutes ago. I was quite far away in Port Coquitlam visiting Root Sciences, their Canada office, the molecular short path distillation unit, which I will definitely be showing you guys on a video. Pretty impressive unit. The stuff makes the craziest distillate. Actually, they gave me a little bit. It's right here. Distillate. There you go. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. We'll talk about actually what this whole show is about. Hello, Etienne. Welcome, buddy.
It's funny that we're going for a walk, yet we're sitting down.
Happy Thanksgiving, brother.
And happy belated Thanksgiving to all you wonderful Canadians. I know that was, what, a month and a half ago or something like that?
Yes, that was about a month or so ago, exactly. Welcome, Todd.
Hey, Todd.
Good day, guys.
And welcome 182 viewers from around the world who are like the Hash Church hardcore core group of people. Thank you guys for showing up. I know it's you. I know it's you.
How are y'all today?
Well, you know, I just literally barely made it back in time. I think I had 3 minutes to spare. I raced home from visiting the Short Path Molecular Distillation Unit earlier, and I actually was quite excited to get this show going. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's we're celebrating all together. You know, it's this sort of Thanksgiving, and I really should say right off the bat, okay, we are in full agreement that the birth of Thanksgiving, the concept of it, what happened to the natives, you know, we're not in support of that. That's not what this is about. We stand with Standing Rock. We just want you all to know that. I think I speak for my brothers in the room right now. In fact, I know I do.
And unequivocally, you know, needless to say, and a shout out to those people who are standing tall at Standing Rock and are actually out there fighting for, you know, everyone south of Mississippi's right for water, basically. Not only just, you know, on the reservation itself, that there's a, man, I have to tell you, I've been contemplating, there's been a call to action for veterans. Veterans are going out for a 3-day thing there in December for, to protect, you know, because there's been literally no media. We now see what we have, and we have only 6 corporations that control the media. We see complete media blackouts, which is basically happening. And if it wasn't for, you know, actors and other people there and sending video out, we wouldn't know about that girl who got her arm literally almost blown off, and you know, these people being shot with water cannons and freezing, you know, how inhumane beyond that. But shout out to those that are fighting for freedom for all, needless to say. And not only is it a celebration, but, you know, 21 and 20 years ago, we were all hanging out together in Amsterdam. No longer existing is the Cannabis Cup in Amsterdam, which was a mass migration of people from around the world. That's where we all met up. I mean, Todd and I met originally on Hemp Tour back in '94, but in '95, I got married at the Milkveg on stage.
I was there.
Yeah, that was on a Thursday night, so it would have been tonight. And then the year after, we were just all hanging out and partying and puffing tough, you know.
It's so cool. All the Cannabis Cups really are, you know, for me as a Canadian, I can tell you I've had damn near 20 American Thanksgivings in Holland over the years. And thanks to guys like Doug from Hemp Hoodlum and Adam, they used to throw the most incredible Thanksgiving dinner party each year at the Cannabis Cup. And if you were ever lucky enough to be at that table of, you know, 30, 40 people, they'd bring out the food, and it was just, there was a lot of really cool memories of having Thanksgiving with my American friends. Welcome, D420K, you big bastard.
What's up, buddy? Happy Thanksgiving to you guys in the States.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, as I said, belated to you wonderful Canadians.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good to see you, brother. You've just been whipping up some medicine, I hear.
Yeah, sifting away. Sifting.
Man, I love, I do have this affinity. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I was just hypnotized by this incredible molecular short path distillation unit and all the splitting of the compounds and cleaning everything out. And I love it and I geeked out on it. But for me, my happy place is definitely in sifting and in making, water hash and learning new methods of extracting microencapsulated resin glands, still intact. I geek out on that shit. So good on you for sifting it up. And we should say hello to the 231 people that are watching. The chat room's ripping. Info Warrior, Richard Campbell, Nate Doe, Spokane Cannabis Review. We got Tahoe Bird in the house. 70s Mama is holding it down. Kana Shiva. We got a whole bunch of cool people in the room that I want to acknowledge and, obviously wish a wonderful day. I hope you guys are puffing tough on this Thanksgiving. And, the title of today's, I guess, show came to me in my head while Todd was talking about the idea of doing a holiday show and maybe making a point on having some different shows other than just Hash Church. And I saw this vision in my mind of this sort of, well, what about the Thanksgiving sort of let's go for a walk, which is the classic if you are the puffer in your family, unless your whole family puffs and then God bless you, if you're just allowed to 20 years ago for me, it was very much, let's go for a walk before we go to eat dinner. Hey, let's go for another walk in the middle of dinner. Hey, dinner's over. We should go for a walk before dessert.
Yeah, my family was like, I've never seen you go for so many walks. Gatherings for some reason.
Healthy. It's good to be healthy. Hey, I haven't had a dab since we got, what's going on here? I sent the link out to Subcool and hopefully he gets that. Maybe I'll send him a little message and remind him. I posted it on Instagram and he said that he might want to come in and have a little visit. Give a shout out to Indra. He's not feeling super well right now, so he's sleeping. Subby.
Oh, I hope Indra feels better.
Yeah. Me too. Obviously. Gotta get some dabbins here. Are we dabbins, everybody?
So is it a holiday Thanksgiving in Canada? Can you kind of school us Americans on Thanksgiving in Canada, just out of curiosity?
Well, Thanksgiving in Canada happens in October, our celebration of trying to decimate the native population. Your celebration of trying to decimate the native population is, of course, in November, about a month later. Now, it's basically got a terrible root. It's got the history of Thanksgiving is just, that is not what we're celebrating. What we're celebrating is, all the good people in the cannabis community, all of you out there that I know are educating, you're not just going for a walk anymore. You're not just hiding. You might come back and proudly let them know that you blazed down and then teach them about their endocannabinoid systems, lay some Hash Church knowledge on them, and continue on with the conversation. I hope it's going on at a lot of dinner tables around North America right now.
Well, with the elections and everything that just went on, I think that's probably the only safe things that regarding politics that most people can talk with their families about.
Yeah, well, that's, what, no joke. You laugh, and I know the realness behind it, but man, friendships have been lost, families have been broken up. Man, the election is like seriously a crazy psychological just test on us, and that's one more reason for us to get together, have a show that's not so serious like Hash Church sometimes tends to get, and just enjoy each other's companies, and of course, have many, many, many.
And go for that walk.
And go for the walk. So come walk with us.
This walk that we went on before was the first walk that I got to go on and smoke a pure hash joint with my Uncle Phil, who I didn't even know smoked or anything like that. It was just, I was of age enough that, in his opinion, that he could smoke with me. It was a big secret and everything. Don't tell your parents. Don't tell your dad or your mom or whatever. I was, yeah, fuck, right. So pulled out just a little skinny little half spliff from fucking Alberta hash. It was killer. fucking knocked my ass off. I ate so much fucking turkey dinner and everything like that. It was fucking great. And you know, this what you were just saying about Thanksgiving and where the roots come from and everything. I think it's nice and about time that all those roots come to a head and is changed. And the whole holiday is changed in a day of something else, a different celebration of fuck, let's pick another day out at any other time and make this day a day of remembering those sort of things and reflecting on that type of stuff that took place. That's just disgusting when you find out more of it, more and more and more. So I think this
I
is
know
the day and age that's coming to a head. You
fuck
know,
me, dude. I know it means a lot to you because you've got native family.
yep, you betcha, you bet. It hurts my heart seeing all that stuff down in Dakota. All of it is just horrible, horrible, horrible. I wish I could go to the States and stand with them. I wish. I don't know why more people aren't. I don't know why the President Obama or Trump or whoever it's going to be now isn't stepping in and stopping it. Like, it's a fucking goddamn gas pipeline. Stop it. Simple. Sport.
Yeah, I mean, to protect the most important like resource that we have on the planet, our water, it just seems like a no-brainer. But it's like, oh, what? It's native people. Well, we better just push all common sense aside.
Yeah.
And just
why is it only the native people? Like, I see a lot of white people.
It's not only the native people. Unfortunately, they're the only ones that have been standing up. All the people outside in different towns just sit quietly, look at the construction, drive around it, go to work, and don't say a damn thing.
Yep. Everybody's got to stand up, no matter what fucking clan or pack or gang or whatever you're from. It's time to stand together and not get violent and stand against and kill the guy in the way and the people in power. Educate, be aware, fucking inspire, fucking instigate good change. Like they're looking after the planet. It's only them.
Right. And why aren't these companies investing in things like wind and solar and alternative energies that are clean? I mean, our future is obviously not in oil.
This is big billionaire money playing big billionaire games, and they've shut down different pipelines. I mean, how many different pipelines are they trying to run through Canada, through the tar pits, etc.? You know, and they're different ones, right? There's many different ones, and this isn't the only pipeline out there, people. There's many other pipelines that have been waylaid, and as Todd said, other town people have just ignored it. It's just, this is native land, and it runs across the Missouri River. Well, just a month ago, I was at the beginning of where the Missouri is, in a very fragile mountain there, and in the glacier. And when you see where something comes from, you realize how fragile our earth is and where that water starts. And I lived in Louisiana, and that water starts there and goes past me all the way into the Gulf of Mexico and then hits the Atlantic. I mean, if people don't realize why Standing Rock is so important for where it is, because of the damage. I mean, how many pipelines have burst? There's lists all on the internet. I mean, there's hundreds of them that have burst from these lines, and that's the concern, is that this is going to bust through and actually contaminate in the Missouri River, and then that becomes everything down the south of from there. So that is why it is so important, or why people are standing up so hard for this. It affects millions of people, and millions of people don't realize how it affects them. And at this point, it'll be until it's too late, unless they stand up.
Well, that's why we have this social media stuff. There's all sorts of ways to use it to our benefit, and it's how we all know about it. I mean, I'm not personally in the States at this place where this is happening. I'm in Canada, but thanks to social media, I get many, many different versions. You know, I can check the news, although I never check the news because it's just depressing and full of lies and often a distant relative of a thing I like to call reality. It's just so skewed and so tweaked and bastardized that it's not even recognizable as reality. Even if you were looking through the most twisted lens, it's still just not accurate to what's going on.
And a greater percentage of people aren't getting their media from the regular media outlets that they used to, because they're turning to social media and other media because they're not hearing about what they want to know regionally or specialized interests, which this has become.
Right. Now I feel it. Well, I wanted to acknowledge that because of the day, because of what's going on, and because of, you know, I knew that it would have to be brought up right away. I don't want this particular show that we're doing today to be all about this intense seriousness, but I'm glad that we brought it up. I want to have some fun tonight. I want to smoke many bowls with you guys, and I want to hear fun stories about getting high with family members for the first time. I've got one personally. It was also an uncle. Thank God for that uncle. I had 3 of them. They were all kind of cool. 2 were pretty cool. 1 was kind of cool. The one, he was super cool. He just hooked me up with nuggets one day when I was of age and sort of gave me a couple of nugs in a little napkin, just passed it over on the table. And I'm like, what's going on? And I looked and I was like, oh my God, like I felt like I was invited into some secret group. Like, I can't tell you how great it felt, because really in my family, if people were doing it, they were hiding it very well back then. And so it was nice to see that someone was acknowledging it. It was during a time as well that people were afraid to share that information. You always had to think about yourself a little bit and whether you were putting yourself at risk when you shared that information, even with a family member for that matter. So it was really like an honor in a sense, if that makes any sense. And look at that little Slayer.
Say hi, Lyndon. Say hi.
Hi,
Hey, what's going on?
Mom.
He's chilling.
Are you hanging out with Pop Pop?
Mama, Papa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hangs out with me lots.
That's
My
awesome.
big buddy. Yeah.
Little man. Oh, you got some tattoos. That looks good. That looks good. Tanner
He was
likes
Right
tattoos.
up. He was sleeved right up. Had them all going on.
Yep, that's fun.
Yeah, I'll get some done in the summertime, but I'll get them all. I'll put them on his neck, some chest piece, some back pieces, a real intricate stuff on his legs, everything, and then we'll get some pictures done together, all linked up, and the other grandkids too. Like Adelina, she's like literally this tall. She's just 1.5 running around.
Full throat piece.
Oh yeah, all of it, man. You got Adelina's already. She loves the tattoos like him already too. They're both gonna be inked right up when they're old enough. I guarantee
That's
you.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Right
These
on.
are what I'm thankful for on this day for sure.
Well, it's a thankful day. Oh, Gorilla Gaines is asking, B-Man, why don't you ever have your kids on vid? Well, Gorilla Gaines, my 2 kids are teenagers and they want absolutely nothing to do with it, and they don't want to be on the vids. And Tanner, I've had him on a few times, not as often, but I've shown him before. He's just, you know, I have a thing where I'm just like, I want my kids to decide on their social media presence in life. And so, although I love to see Lyndon, and it makes me want to go grab my boy, even though he's not home, I don't do it as often. I'm puffing bowls too, pretty tough here right now in the office. So he doesn't come in when I'm puffing heavy bowls.
A new hat.
Michael Clemens says, I have to say it's really nice to have my parents so much more accepting of my ganja use. Well, no doubt. I think it's why it's important to open a dialogue with your parents about it. And really the most important thing is to try and understand that the way you want to open the dialogue may not be the way they want to hear it. And I use the perfect example as doctors. There's many people who try to train the doctors and teach them, and some of it works great. But if you really want to get through to doctors, you need to have doctors training them about these things. That's what's great about having so many doctors that are becoming educated and learning and understanding that they themselves go out and decimate the information. And yeah, it's just sort of a good metaphor for teach your parents what they want to hear in the way they want to hear it. You know, come at them the way that you know them better than anyone. How do they want to hear it? Because if you come at them too sort of argumentative, you might not get as far with it. And who knows? That's just my opinion. You guys might have a different one.
No, I agree. It's how unlike you, I had no one in my family smoke pot, so I had no one turn me on or be like, "Hey, you gotta learn this." So I had to go through the education process. So for me, it helped when I was in Cannes because I would just send them literature, and they wanted to know what I was doing. I'm like, yeah, I'm on the road, pushing for legalization, yada yada yada.
This is what I'm doing.
That wasn't necessarily too accepted early on, but when I was then, I sent them The Emperor Wears No Clothes, and I was working for an Ecolution hemp company, and so then I could send them actual hemp products, and they could actually wear it, and it took time. There was no way where it was immediate where we're going to be like. Actually, right when I was 18, I met a con man, and he taught me a lot in life by one, conning me, but he was a pot smoker, and he came over to my house, and he sat down with my mom and my stepdad, and he sat there and he'd said, next time I show up, I'm gonna bring a joint and we're gonna get high. And my stepdad and my mom were like, no, we're not, no way, shape or form. And they looked at me like, who's this friend of yours? And yeah, it was just one of those moments back in this is 87. So yeah, it was very much the dark days of drug war. And again, my mom never smoked pot. She had a quick story. The only time she ever was experienced with marijuana was in New Orleans. There's this thing called the Mardi Gras fountain. So it's a fountain that changes color. And so back in the 50s, that was the latest in technology. So when she graduated high school, a friend of hers, she picked her up and took her down to the waterfront, and they went down to the Mardi Gras fountain, and her friend proceeded to light a left-handed cigarette, she said, a left-handed cigarette in the car, of which my mother immediately made her put it out, and then drove her home and never spoke to her again.
Damn, that's extreme.
Was my family. So there's
My car.
Drank like fish. Mom loved a rusty nail all day long, but the talk of marijuana, absolutely not.
Well, Greg Ralston had a good one here, Todd, that you'll appreciate. He said that he gave his mom a copy of The Union, and after she watched it, she told him she was sorry.
That's deep. I've heard a lot of great parent stories from that film.
Yeah, well, that's a great parent film.
Yeah, it was very palatable, and it made it make sense for people that didn't really understand the fundamental arguments we were trying to make. And
it made it cultural for them. Let's be honest, it was the first movie that made it culturally real for people to see and accept. Most movies were either jokes or, ad hominems, whatever. They were never anything that was ever to be taken seriously, where you could actually give something to your parents to sink their teeth into,
Right. Well, if of all things I'm thankful for, post-prison, meeting Adam and Steven and Brett, who are the three guys that did both films. Brett was the writer and the editor, and really talented. In his first film out of school, he tackled the topic of cannabis so honestly, and I felt like he gave it such great credit, and it was such a bridge for so many people, and I'm still so happy that came together so quickly after getting out of prison, I should say. Life post-prison, that's something to be thankful for.
Do you get the same response to the Culture High as well as to the Union, where they've showed it to their parents and has changed minds?
The Culture High hit a different tone. We didn't have worldwide distribution with the Union other than people basically trading it, which was very fortuitous, and I'm so glad people did. The internet got fast right around the same time that our film was released, and because of people pirating our film, it really grew legs and went around the world. And the Culture High was in a different kind of a ball game, and because we had more people like Richard Branson launching it and such, I feel like it hit a different note. It is currently in 15 languages in 70 countries, and I think it's affecting people all over the world in a way that the Union was only in English, so it could only do so much in comparison.
Right. Makes sense. Pretty cool.
I worked with Adam before in Kelowna. I worked for his dad. Good dudes, good family, good guys.
Yeah, they were really what was so fantastic about it. I mean, initially they came to me, they wanted Bill Maher, and Bill was doing the film on religion and couldn't participate. And I got Joe Rogan, and just seeing their passion and everything is what motivated me to get them Todd McArear and Lester Grinspoon and right to the people at Leap. And they were fantastic. Their follow-up was so professional, and they fell in love with Lester Grinspoon. He was such a gem, and his interview was just so great. And Todd McArea's too. A lot of people don't realize it, but it ended up very unfortunately being Todd McArea's last interview before he passed away from cancer. And he was the first whistleblower. He worked for the National Institute of Mental Health and discovered that a lot of the information, cannabinoid research coming out of Israel in the 60s was classified. And he found that was a clash with his, ethical duty as a doctor. And he quit his job and became one of the foremost cannabis activists of his time in the world. And he predated Lester and Lester's turnaround. And we're talking, 1970, 71, Marijuana Reconsidered was actually released. So do you remember the copyright year of McArea's book?
It's got to be in this. Yeah, it's got to be in the 60s. I mean, he revised it to include the information that went up to 72, but his original book was, I mean, he was doing stuff in the 60s and was uncovering information in the 60s that we had no idea about. And he's the whole reason I'm even involved, because I went to that first Cannabis Action Network meeting and Dr. Todd was there with that book. It was just a green book at the time. Now it's a green book with leaves on the front, but back then it was just the green book. And he was just an older, well-spoken doctor who knew. I mean, I didn't know anybody who was more enlightened. Just as one, a doctor, two, as a cannabis doctor, and three, he was immediately like, oh, hey, you've got this Gulf War syndrome. You're my patient. Also, let's document this stuff and start writing it down and documenting all these things that the VA had given up regarding. And so he was very helpful for me mentally and physically, just saying, hey, let's also, look beyond, just the cannabis, and let's look at, other things as well. But his education, first and foremost, and his ability to speak and to go out and challenge the ideas. Remember, it was Dr. Todd who, when 215 originally passed 20 years ago, he's the one who sued, Shalala and them back in the day, Donna Shalala and them, they went after the doctors, saying that the doctors could not write recommendations for medical marijuana right after 215 passed. And Dr. Todd and Frank Lucido actually banded together and sued the Justice Department for the right for doctors to maintain that doctor-patient confidentiality and be able to speak, and as well as to write those recommendations. So not only was he just educated, he was one of those out on the front lines. The first time I went lobbying in Washington, D.C. was Dennis Perrone and Dr. Todd McArea. And if I couldn't take more two diametrically opposed people socially and walk right into like Senator Waxman's office and Dennis Perrone, like, oh, Senator, we're saving your ass in San Francisco. And Dr. Todd staying there with his video camera. Hi, good to see you. Welcome. I'm Dr. Todd McArea. It was just, to paint the picture, it was just so socially wow. But he was a pioneer in every sense of the word, and the doctor who put his money where his mouth is, like Dr. Lester Grinspoon is, and has taken the attacks from academically as well as from the higher ups in the government. So much respect to them.
Yeah,
and
really thankful for the people that came before us and did all this work. We're benefiting now from the sweat and tears of a lot of people that have not lived to see this wonderful day.
True that.
Yeah.
Very true. That deserves us a puff right there. We show a puff for the fallen soldiers.
Long rip.
For sure, long rip.
Well, for those that never got to see it, that is sure nice to see, I'll tell you.
Gone but not forgotten.
Never.
And we know too many of them, unfortunately.
Oh, it's a long list, man. It's a long list. People 20K is wasting no time in getting his bong ripped down.
Nope. Gotta blow my blast outside. My office isn't closed up.
Boom.
It's okay though. No problem.
Well, I'll tell you, that unit I just went and saw, holy shit. People really are taking this cannabis thing pretty seriously. I'm telling you, that rabbit hole just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. I sent a picture to Todd and he said, that looks complicated.
Well, this is the
It was
thing.
really complicated. It didn't look at it. It really was complicated.
But this is the best thing, is now we can have the best and the greatest minds coming and playing now because it's legal and they can actually play, whereas opposed to we've done all this shit in our backyards, bathtub, gin styling. Great for everybody, much respect for everybody there. But now we have professionals in every walk of life that can come in and be like 3M and make it better. And that's what we all love to see. We want to see better, safer for all, right?
Yep. Yeah, I would say cannabinoids for all would be a good slogan.
A damn fine slogan indeed. I'm trying to get these pictures airdropped onto my computer so I can share a few of them, but it doesn't seem to want to.
Can you tell us what was different about this machine than others?
I guess it was mostly the design, you know, like a rotovap is like a big vessel where the material's in there, you put it in ethanol or whatever, and then there's water that it sits in and it spins. And I guess the spinning heats it up and it vacuum and it pushes it through this system. Basically what you do is you are distilling the cannabinoids away from the rest of the material. This unit is a little different because of it's not really a rotovap at all. It's a short path molecular distiller. It's got a coil that runs like tall throughout the center of the unit. And I'm going to show some pictures here as soon as I can figure out what. Oh, there we go. Beautiful airdrop. So that's going to move those 4.
Did you freeze up on us? Your mic is.
I said, see what happens when you play with your computer in the middle of doing something important. Is Darren? No, he can hear us.
Yeah, D can hear us.
Yeah, well, guys, happy Thanksgiving. Oh, no.
I guess we're walking along. We're walking along.
Well,
Yeah, he's frozen.
He is frozen. So what the fuck are we going to do? Give it a minute, guys. I like that. There is optimism in the chat room.
Absolutely. So, Todd, what family Thanksgiving stories can you tell us?
Hell no, didn't have any. My family was completely fucking...
He's
and
fat!
you're back. That's great.
Sorry about
that. My family didn't work. Go ahead.
All right, let me do this little sharing my screen thing here. This one right here. So this is the unit right here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's pretty psychotic. It's okay. So on the left, you have the controllers, and you can see there's 3 controllers. And those are controlling the pumps and the flow rate and the vacuum and this, that, and the other thing. And you can see there's kind of 3, you know, main parts. Even though there's 2 stands in the middle, that's all part of the actual condenser. And over to the left, let me just mute that. Over to the left, you have, on the far left, you've got the controller for each piece. The top one is flow rate. So it decides how fast the oil is pushed through the system. Now, all of the metal components, like if you look at the big, oh, actually, can you see my mouse when I do this? Does that show up there? It does, doesn't it? Over top of the unit, you don't see the mouse moving? Yes, good, because that's important. So we have a pump right here. that's spinning and pushing into this and basically pulls your crude oil. The unique thing about this, Etienne, that's different from other units, which was the question that opened us up into this conversation, is that this particular part is not under vacuum. It's open. You can actually take this lid right off and continue to pour oil through while you're cleaning it. What I figured out was this unit is used, this is a small unit that is used on site to test petrol. And then it is used to molecularly clean up petroleum products. And they make them huge, like 6 stories tall. This is just the small unit where they come in and they see what ratios they get. So these guys have applied it to cannabis and hemp extractions and processing. So the oil gets pushed through this little unit. All of these metal components, all of these pipes are sleeved. They have jackets on them. So this allows for an extremely accurate control of pressure, vacuum, and temperature beyond what a rotovap can offer. And so it goes all the way up this pipe. It goes into this little valve here, and they say something about this piece right here because it's an important factor, because once it goes through here, it is now under vacuum. And now the oil is going to fall down through this glass chamber. And in the center here, this long chamber has these long rods, and they are spinning. You can actually see at the top, it's kind of cut out, but that's a Heidolf. I can't remember the name of it, but it basically controls the wipers that spin. And you can control the speed and the variableness of this unit through just that unit at the top. It spins in a circle very quickly, and it creates a viscous material out of the oil. And then the temperature grade, you can't really see, but from the bottom where I'm right here, there's a coil. This is a condenser, and it goes all the way up through the center of this unit, and it's very tight glass. And the cannabinoids, they just attach themselves to this thing, condense out of vapor, and liquefy down the center and fraction off to the right. You can see that oil that's fractioning off is the distillate. Now to the left, you get your crude. This crude oil can continually be poured through your molecular distiller, run through again. He showed me the nastiest crude oil that he took 250 grams of absolutely like somewhat stunningly beautiful looking distillate. Anyway, from my perspective, I was quite surprised. So let me show you a few other pictures up close here. This is the THC fraction right here, where it's coming, the cannabinoid fraction to the right. You can see in the background of that, actually, let me get the picture shared so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we need the picture up.
In the background there's that little round ball with the yellow liquid, and that is a terpene collection. Now, the problem with the terpenes these guys were getting, now this machine requires the crude oil be decarboxylated. And the reason that is they need to rid the product of terpenes, which ends up causing the product somewhat, basically they have to do terpene runs. They decarboxylate the oil, they run it through the material. They do 2 terpene runs. One comes right out of this unit here, and then the better one is back here. But to me, both were almost unusable because the heat of the decarboxylation and the way the oil turns out as an end result is not conducive to something that I would call terpenes that could be saved in any way, shape, or form. So I was going to talk to them about helping them out in that sense, but that's some of the end product right there. It was absolutely as hard as a rock when it cooled. Very, very strong. They say they usually get between 95 and 97% THC. They usually have a couple of percent of CBD and even up to 1% of CBN, the degradation that.
What strain was that?
I'm not even too sure. I'd have to ask them, actually. They had a liter that we ran, and it took 40 minutes to run the THC cut, as they call it, the 2 terpene cuts, the initial terpene cut after the machine turning on and heating up and getting to spec takes about 30 minutes. Running the first terpene cut, getting those out takes about an hour and a half. Running the second terpene cut takes about a half an hour, and then they do their THC cut, which takes about 40 minutes. So it's like a 3 and a bit hour process to do a full cut. But then again, that depends on how big you want to do, right? They can continually pour the oil in through the top so you could run. We were running at a 45 megahertz, sorry, not mega, just hertz. And I show it in the video. That is about a 1.5 kilo an hour. So you can run a 1,500 grams of crude oil through the machine completely every hour. So pretty cool unit. Not gonna lie, I thought it was pretty interesting. I'm not a huge, you know, for me it was interesting because one of the things I liked about it is that any of the worries that you might have, not any, but most of the worries that you may have with oil, whether CO2 or BHO, from the mystery oils and heavy metal contaminants and anything else they may have done wrong, human error, these guys can pretty much get rid of. The only thing that they are limited with, that they are unable to do, which you can do in your own grow room, is to control the, to make sure no pesticides are used whatsoever. Because unfortunately, pesticides have the same molecular weight as cannabinoids. So they concentrate with the distillate. So you don't want to be running pesticide-rich material through a unit like this. I mean, I wouldn't want to run it through any unit. What am I saying? But that's one of their shortcomings is that they can't control that. But they control their grows. They make sure there's no chemicals used, and then they can run and ensure, obviously, that with the lab testing as well, that they've produced a, you know, really a quite fine, near pharmaceutical grade sort of medicine. And then I guess from there you could take that and you could isolate it. This is the product I'm talking about right here, actually, for those of you that are wondering what it looked like. This is just a little bit that they put on here and passed along. I thought I would let some of my friends like D420K and Johnny B and whatnot give it a little shot. I think it's time for a Thanksgiving rip. What do you guys think? It was a little bit of like a distillate 101 that would just went down there, which is hilarious that that me of all people would be giving it, because I don't have a lot of exposure to hydrocarbon extracts, CO2 extracts. I know what I know, but today was a really neat experience to see that. I just like the idea of being able to eliminate all those different potential mistakes that people have made to get rid of those things and to create this sort of very, well, also odorless, no terpenes. It really is just pretty much THC with a very, very little bit of CBD and CBN. So there it is, yeah. Yeah, come on, dude, that's super simple. It's like poop, pop, pan. You just
Straight to the point.
You can have
Just
one of those
water.
in the bathroom, Todd. I'm surprised you don't have one of those running 24/7 at your house. And you know, every time you go stand near it, you're supposed to put like a white lab coat on, but I didn't. I did not. What are you boys saying? What's all puffing? We just broke 300 viewers. That's kind of fun. We just got a short, small little crew in here for a Thanksgiving celebration. Hope everyone's enjoying their food, whether it be turkey or not turkey. I hope.
We should ask the what is everybody puffing on right now? They're out there in Turkey land.
Yeah, what are you enjoying on your walk out there in Turkey land, as Etienne says? I think it'll. Here we go. It's about to start. Dank Kush, Lemon G13 flower rosin. Tangy. Never takes much more than 3 or 4 people to say something before Tangy's there. Terp sugar on the sidewalk. Alcohol is toxic. Well, we know that. And I'm not sure if there's another way of putting it. Would be alcohol potentially feeds demons. It is like the feeder of demons. Don't feed those guys. Super Scout. Wow, that's a lot of people puffing on a lot of things. I guess there's 300 people in there, or 295. Damn, the celebration dab was for 300, and now we're under 300, so I don't know if I can take this dab anymore.
I think you can do it. Power through.
Well, you know.
Walk through it.
Hey, there he is. I thought I sent you the link, hemp guy, on here. Let me send it to your Facebook, but I thought I sent it to you on Skype. I'm pretty sure I did. If you want to go to Skype, yeah, it's there. It's in Skype. I'll send it to you on your Facebook account as well. Talking to the skunk man, of course. He says he wants to come in and.
Sure. He's up early, huh?
I usually gets up at 5, so I think it's just before 5 right now in Holland. 4:44 or something.
I'm gonna do some distillate with some terp and dip it into some terps.
Well, good.
Yeah, it's good shit. It's
I'm
power.
gonna invite Brandon Dabfile in to hang out with us for a bit.
Good old Brandon.
Yeah, he's a friend from Calgary that likes to come to town, learning a lot about the cannabinoid system. Suffers, I think, from MS. I think that's why he moved to Calgary, actually. But yeah, I just sent him the link if he wants to come in and share some stories and some dabs with us. He's a pretty good dude. And I also just sent the link out to Sir Skunk a lot. Sir Skunk a lot. All right. I think I'm getting ready. Actually, I need a terp dip on this dab. This can't just be your regular.
This is a Long Valley Royal Kush.
Dude, Kush.
Distillate on it.
Did you say Koosh?
Kush, yeah. I might as well dip it into this dry sift too and have the triple dip
It'd be
going on.
insane not to. Literally, it'd be insane not to.
Why not?
I'm doing it.
I'm doing it.
Long rip.
Well, I'll puff to that. Hello, Skunkaman. You're muted.
Happy Turkey Day from afar there.
He's already in tomorrow.
Well, happy tomorrow to you.
We should
Or
get
happy post-Turkey Day to you then.
Happy yesterday.
happy yesterday.
Happy Turkey Day from afar there.
Happy belated tomorrow.
Well, happy tomorrow to you.
Happy yesterday.
Happy yesterday.
Happy Turkey Day from afar there. Yeah, mute your YouTube. Yeah, you go.
Hi, Kitty.
Happy yesterday.
Happy yesterday.
Happy Turkey Day from afar there. Yeah, mute your YouTube. Yeah, you go.
Hi, Kitty. Hey, don't fuck around. Don't fuck around, you guys. If Todd and I have to deal with technical difficulties, shit's gonna get bad fast.
Yeah, mute your
That's funny. No, it's a holiday. Let there be technical.
Let them happen. Don't fuck around, you guys. It's still going. Oh my god. Go to the YouTube page now and turn it off. In the meantime, we are muting your mic. I hear myself in the background. Fuck around. Yeah, where is Johnny B actually? We need that guy's good vibes.
So I guess this now puts us straight into the Christmas season, huh?
Well, yeah, right. You know, it kind of starts in Canada a little bit earlier because we don't have this American Thanksgiving, so they can get away with that shit way earlier.
Oh no, dude, that shit has been out since, just after, Labor Day, in places here, but it's just more heightened now.
Right. Like instantly, I'm sure.
It's bizarre. It's like you go from one holiday and all of a sudden there's all the Christmas shit. You're like, what the fuck? It's not even September.
It's pretty trippy. It's like a weird social experiment where they're like, all right, we're creating an economy, but we need something that will really promote and pump the economy like at least once a year, like just a huge sort of...
Dude, it has its own name, Black Friday.
I know. I'm telling you.
Do you have Black Friday up there in Canada?
Well, we watch the YouTube videos.
Hey, we got frickin' Black Friday over here now. The Dutch will do nothing to avoid making money.
They got sales going on over here and stuff, Canadian Tire and all these things, but it's not like
People aren't dying.
No, it's not like down there at all compared to that. It's like that everywhere down there. But
I went to a big store that sold pies. It says, do you have pumpkin pie? And they said, they didn't even know what it was. And I said, pompoen pie, which is the Dutch word. And they still said, looked at me like I was just, stark raving idiot. And then I said, well, do you have Black Friday? And they all lit up their eyes. Yeah, we know what Black Friday is.
That's funny.
Nope. Yeah, well, the Dutch know all about making money. They don't want their books in the red. They want their books in the black. Come buy stuff.
Come buy stuff. Well, the whole world's suffering from that one, that's for sure. But we got to take a break from our sponsor to announce. No, I'm just joking. You need to buy some shit. Buy more shit. George Carlin has the best stand-up routine called Stuff. If you haven't heard it, you actually got to Google that, YouTube it.
It's your shit, my stuff.
George Carlin Stuff. It's all about the stuff. It's so funny. I'm not going to bastardize it by trying to like say it because I don't know it very well, but go Google that afterwards and listen to it. It is brilliant. I'm sure most people have heard it. Most people. By most people, I mean like 95% of the world's population. I'm joking.
And if you don't know who George Carlin is, go look him up and watch everything he's done.
Yeah, that would be like the next. You know, that's going to naturally occur after they watch Stuff.
Him and Bill Hicks, those are standard watching, I think, for comedians.
I'd throw Mitch Hedberg in there as well, not for his political or his, like, just for the sheer insanity of his comedy. He is awesome. If you just don't want to take anything serious at all, like, what did he say? He's like, yeah, I used to smoke a lot of weed. I still do, but I used to smoke a lot of weed. He's got the twisted humor.
I can tell you kind of a funny story.
Tell me one.
Well, I was asleep about half an hour ago. And I woke up feeling all hot and sweaty, and I realized I barely smoked yesterday because I wasn't feeling so good. And when I don't, I remember my dreams. And so I remember what my dream was. I was at an airport someplace with Donald Trump, and he was offering to give me a ride in his airplane, and it was just totally insane. I was calling him Don.
That is bizarre. Skunkman Sam in the D-Man's plane. I can't picture it. I could picture you blazing him down though.
What did he smoke? What did you smoke with him?
He was not smoking. I was just trying to get on an airplane. I had to get someplace really important. I can't even remember now. In my dream, though, it was really important. And
oops, sorry, that was my Skype. Rob Clarkey's hitting me up. Maybe I should send him a message. You guys,
yeah, tell Rob Clark to come on in.
Yeah, he's another Thanksgiving refugee.
Well, actually, he's in Turkey. So instead of him having turkey, turkey's having him for Thanksgiving.
But it's tomorrow. But he had it yesterday.
No, wait. Thanksgiving is here and now. It's already passed, dudes. We live in a global world.
And what a global world.
all right. I sent that link out to Rob in case he may or may not want to do that right now, but at least he's got the link if he does want to. 309 people in the room, by the way. Go ahead.
Speaking of thankful, we're thankful for you, Sam, for being such a curious geneticist, for creating such wonderful genetics through the years. So thank you very much for your contribution to cannabis.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Okay. Yes. Instead of asking, well, we've already asked what everyone's puffing on, we could ask that same question. What are you thankful, most thankful about in regards to cannabis? And everyone in the room can answer what they are. I know there's a ton of stuff, but just pick one that you're really sort of partial to.
I would think it would be the diversity of cannabis.
Well, that's a great one.
Not only dry sift, herbal cannabis, but even within herbal cannabis, all of the completely different, cannabis profiles, THC, CBD, and all the frickin' terpenes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, that pretty much doesn't that cover it right there. Well, people are thanks for a lot. Some people are thankful for Sam. Some people are thankful for their ACMPR license. Some people are thankful for rosin. Some people are thankful for terps. And some people are thankful for hash terps. There's a whole bunch of cool things getting pumped out of there in the chat room. If you're in there, Keep answering. I know there's a lot of you in there, so we want to know what you're thankful for in regards to this wonderful plan. I don't know if you could answer it more precisely or perfect than Sam just did. That was pretty much perfect. Hey, welcome, Subcool, to the room. I hope Jill's in the house as well. What's up, Sub?
Hey, brother, how you doing, man?
I'm doing really good. Are you with Jill?
I am. We're still finishing up Thanksgiving dinner with all the family, so I figured I'd slip in and say hey real quick.
Hey, that's so awesome that you did. I'm glad. I know people were excited to hear from you, and you know, happy Thanksgiving, man. We were just literally answering the question, what are you most thankful for about cannabis?
Well, for me, cannabis gave me an entire life. I mean, like many of you guys, since the age of about 14, everything I've eaten, every pair of clothes I've bought, and even my kids' braces and college education, every bit of it came from the cannabis plant.
Nice. Well, that's a full answer right there, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Is it bright there, Subcool, or are those sunglasses just for an effect?
Yeah, they're for effect. I always wear my purple sunglasses when I'm on camera.
Nice. Remo definitely always puts his glasses on when he's on camera. I'll turn my camera on sometimes, and he'll be like, just a second, let me. I'm like, oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. Well, that's
So
cool.
did everybody have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, well, you know, a couple of us are in Canada, so myself and D420K, we didn't necessarily have one aside from the one we're having right now. But
Right.
both Etienne and Todd and potentially Sam could answer on that. The American.
I had a pretty good one. My wife made turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, broccoli. I mean, asparagus, sweet potatoes. So it was pretty simple. I mean, it was no big giant bird, but it tasted just as good.
That's what I'm talking about.
I was very fortunate. My beloved made me some turkey dinner with stuffing, mashed potatoes, gravy, all the good stuff, and I'm just stuffed to the gills right now. And we're gonna have cherry pie here when we're done, because
Nice.
gotta have some pie, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
you guys are killing it.
Mark, I was going to tell you that when I was in Canada, man, with Bad Boy and Homegrown, we went to the grocery store. We had a full-on Thanksgiving dinner. I had to show those boys what it was about.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
but you're not supposed to have cherry pie. You're supposed to have pumpkin pie. That's what I was looking for today and struck out.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I would have a little piece of pumpkin pie just because you're supposed to. But cherry pie? Damn, Etienne's doing it up. That's
Bing cherries
I
too.
love pumpkin pie. It's great.
Hey, I love pumpkin pie, but sorry, once you start getting like the fruity, like delicious, raspberries, strawberries, rhubarb, cherry, blue, all of that is, I'm really partial.
Didn't you know pumpkins are a fruit?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying they're not, but
They're the biggest fruit on the country, on the world. I mean, come on. I've seen pumpkins that weighed like 500 kilos.
yeah, that's a pretty big pumpkin.
Well,
You know, I got some.
they have a pumpkin contest in Half Moon Bay every year, and either Half Moon Bay or someplace back in Ohio, and even a few places up in Canada, win the contest for the biggest pumpkin.
I had a guy send me some giant pumpkin seeds. I guess they get 2,000 or 1,500 pounds, but the amount of water they take every day, I don't have that much water in California.
Oh my God. Yeah, I guess they're not doing commercial pumpkin growing in California.
No, they are. They do. It's down. Like you
They
said.
do. Oh my God.
Absolutely, yeah.
Half Moon Bay is full of them.
Yeah, let's say Half Moon Bay. I was just down there, and in October, and en masse. Last year I was down there, same thing. They've got pumpkin patches, they've got the cornrow mazes, all that stuff.
They got more water than you, eh, Sub?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very fun. Man, I'm stoked to do a little Thanksgiving show. There's a schwack of people in the chat room right now talking about a bunch of different things. You have to give them 100 gallons of water a day, OG Brick just said.
Yeah, and that's what the guy told me. He said, you can plant these seeds, But if you're going to plant them, you need to give them a bunch of water every day. And we were in a drought last year, so we didn't mess with it. So, but I know there's other areas on Cali get a lot more water than we get. I think we got 9 inches total last year.
Jesus. We've gotten rain in Vancouver about like 57 days of the last 2 months. And it's been great for the mountain. There's like 150 centimeters of base up on Whistler Mountain already. I think today was like 36 centimeters of fresh pow-pow. Just like on the mountain. And I went yesterday and it was 28 centimeters of fresh pow-pow on 108 centimeters. And it was just wonderful. I gotta say, I love it. It's one of the most enjoyable things. Jordan Ray says, thank you so much for doing this special show, Bubbleman. And I say, well, thank you all for joining as well. Like, I'm so glad Sub managed to come in and say hello. And it was Todd's really idea that we did this. And I'm down for having a few more bowls and telling more stories. It's loose. You know, I feel like this is looser than Hash Church is almost built into this, like, God, there's almost pressure involved in Hash Church nowadays compared to this is just do what you do. Talk, tell stories, have fun. Nothing is off base.
So next Sunday, Rob's supposed to enlighten us about Turkey, yes?
Yes, I'm going to announce that he has let me know that there's a presentation. It's something about Turkey. He hasn't told me exactly what. I guess he might want it to be a surprise. So I'm going to just put that out on the comment section. He's going to come and do about a half an hour to 40-minute slideshow presentation. And we'll make sure that we give him the floor between 9:15 to 9:30. He wants to make sure there's an audience to see the slide, even though the majority of the people do watch it afterwards, and they'll all see it for sure. I'm looking forward to it. I hope that the audience has great questions, and I hope it lasts for a couple of hours, because we also have Dr. Zach Walsh. And I believe Zach Walsh is doing some of the PTSD studies with the University of British Columbia. He's a dude I grew up with in Manitoba, and he's been like an expert witness and done a bunch of work with UBC in regards to cannabis and cannabis education. So I think this Sunday is going to be a pretty good day between the two of those guys showing up and having discussion. Hopefully Sub will come on Sunday as well. If you're around, dude, we'd love to have you.
Absolutely. And let me just say, I'm down in town right now. Anytime that I can't join the show, I live up in the mountains in Northern California, and I either have internet connection or I don't. So I always try, but if I can't get on, then that's what's going on.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured, you know. I figured you were always pretty much down.
Yeah, always, yeah. It's really weird when it's cloudy, I can get on, and when it's sunny, I can't. So who knows how that shit works.
That is trippy for sure. Peter North here. Keep up the great streaming. All right, we will. It's fun. It's chill. It's nice to be able to, like, you know, you can't always get into the same room with all these guys. I know that over the years we've managed to do it enough times to become friends and to learn more about each other. But nowadays with technology, this is pretty cool. Grandparents must be loving this shit who live far away from their grandkids, because I'm telling you, like, grandparents, it's funny because I bet you there are grandparents that are like, when I was a grandparent, we didn't have this, you know, because it wasn't available to everyone. It's very cool. I love it.
I was joking. I was pretty hot on technology my whole life, but recently I've slipped. So I had my kids around on Thanksgiving today. So I handed them my phone. I tell them to show me how to work my phone. I've got one of those Amazon Echoes. I said, make this thing work. And of course, they don't even read the instructions. They just make it work. So God bless the kids.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. It's intuitive now, you know, and it's funny because it's that same sort of thing that people are like worried, the way they were probably worried when people started gyrating their hips and Elvis was playing on the radio. It's like, you shouldn't do that. It's bad for you. Now it's like these screens, it's too much screen time. It's not good. And it's like, well, maybe it's not, but maybe it is. Who knows? Maybe they're going to be the next whatever that deals with this next level of technology jump. You know, a perfect example were these little Nintendo kids that were playing Nintendo left, right, and center, or Sega, or whatever the newest one is, Xbox, PS4. There's so many different ones. This was about 10 or 15 years ago I heard this, though. They were designing these blades that were much thinner than scalpels, and they worked off robotic arms. These little kids were able to like peel grapes and sew them back together and just do incredibly articulate shit because they were like video game masters. And the actual, you know, thoracic heart surgeons and brain surgeons and those dudes who were in their 50s and 60s, they were unable to really maneuver and manipulate the tool because of such a lack of like a full generation gap where they just didn't grow up with that foundation to become. It's not about, it's intuitive. It's just like, yeah, give me a phone, Dad. I don't know. No, never seen one of these before. Okay, it's done. Fix it. There you go.
Yeah, and think about all the drone flyers that Obama uses over Afghanistan and other places in Asia. They wouldn't be able to bomb and kill innocent people without all of that work they got from the Xbox.
Well, there you go. That's both sides of the picture, right? You can take technology and you can save lives with it, or you can take lives with it. And there's always going to be that in regards to many of these different concepts. And it's kind of the worry about, you know, artificial intelligence, you know, and it's the worry about so many different technologies. But, you know, before these technologies, strangely enough, people were still killing people. I think that we need to focus on.
We need to combine the technology, as Bill Hicks says, and, you know, start smart fruit so that we're, you know, shooting people with fruit, feeding the world, not killing anybody anymore, just feeding the world.
That's awesome. Yeah, very cool. Dabs up, guys. I think it's time for another Thanksgiving. Let's go for a walk. And who is it? Are you going with your sister, your brother, your uncle, your grandma? I hope you're going with your grandma. Hey, grands. So, you know what? The bottom line is if the matriarch or the patriarch of the house is dabbing, you're not going for a walk. You are dabbing in that house. Let's be honest.
Hey, anybody in chat, can you tell us what family member you're hanging out with, getting high with right now? Not the name, just the relation.
Yeah, exactly. We want to know what the relation is.
Well,
I think we're going to be a lot of uncles.
Here in Amsterdam, nobody's awake except for me and my Mr. Kitty.
Hey, Mr. Kitty.
Well, you know, I'm very proud that I live in a whole cannabis family. All of my kids are medical. Of course, Jill, my entire family, there's 9 people here today, all have medical. So it's just kind of neat to be a cannabis family.
Absolutely, dude. And respect to you for that.
A lot of people hanging with their cats and dogs.
As Lyndon comes in with Pop Pop's rig. Pop Pop, here's your ship.
It's right there.
I know. Can you imagine he's just walking around?
You know, I've thought that in my head a few times and just had that vision, just like, oh my God. You know?
Yeah, it's the one spot my kid has to be. I make sure my wife always, the door has to be closed. You make sure he doesn't come in here because I would never want him to pull electronics or other things on top of himself and get hurt, you know?
Yep.
The safety area. Raspberry diesel BHO with Blue Dream and 9-pound hammer dry sift on top. Double dip bong rip. Cheers from Malik Spider. Man,
That'll do it.
that's something right there. D420K is giving you the 2-finger time.
Double
Why
dip.
didn't he add any rosin to it?
I don't know. I don't know. What was he thinking? Well, he had the BHO on there.
Triple dip that shit, man. There's always room for a triple dip.
Yep. Thanks for the distillate to help my chronic migraines from my hearing loss. Oh, sorry to hear that, Archer. I wish you would have pushed through and made it. The only time he saw me was at Champs, and he couldn't get anywhere near me because I was mobbed the whole time. So he shook Johnny B's hand. Great guy there. Johnny B is a great guy. I've invited him. I don't know what he's doing. I bet you he's having a good time, and he's out enjoying himself right now. I'm certain of it, in fact. Can't imagine him doing anything but.
It's his birthday week, so he's partying.
It's his birthday month. Johnny B usually spends 6 months actually celebrating his birthday. Ah, yes. Very chill. I wonder what happened to Todd. We lost him.
He said he was going to be right back.
You'll be back.
Probably took a giant rip. I wonder if my friend... Pop, pop. What it is, what it shall be, my man. I'll tell you.
So, what is your favorite Thanksgiving food, Bubbleman? If you have one thing that you want on your plate that symbolizes Thanksgiving when you have Thanksgiving dinner at your house.
I'll tell you, that's a great question, because for me, as a person who grew up as a meat eater throughout my younger teen years, I think I was around 16 or 17 when I was like stopped eating meat. So it's been many years now. But years ago, when I first moved here, about 15 years ago when I moved here, and I've definitely been not eating meat for longer than that, a friend of mine, Blue, his name was Blue, James actually, but we all called him Blue, big dready dude. He had us all over for Thanksgiving, and it was like Hillary Black was there and a bunch of, you know, the core cannabis community from those days, mid-90s, Vancouver. He had us all over, and he cooked these things called tofurkeys. And I was like, what the hell? Like, kind of just like, you know, I don't know about this. I kind of was the type of vegetarian that wasn't really still sure about all this fake meat sort of stuff. I was a little bit thrown off by it. I had enjoyed a few things, but for the most part, I was like, wow, they have some distance to go before any of that's really actually any good. But he cooked these two tofurkeys, and I just couldn't believe it. It was like reminiscent of eating a turkey dinner as a kid, but still maintaining my vegetarian diet. It was just the texture and the taste, the gravy, the mashed potatoes, the cranberries, the asparagus, the sweet potatoes, all of those delicious things that are vegetables and plant-based. And then along with this other plant-based sort of meat substitute that's still, and with stuffing in the center of it. The whole thing was had real nice stuffing. It was just...
Was it toe stuffing?
It was not toe stuffing. It was just, you know, like the regular old stuffing, dude. What the fuck? I'm just joking. It was good. Anyway, it's what I've had for Thanksgiving for probably since then, almost every year. So it's nice. It's I don't really look to have many meals that replicate meat meals. I eat a lot of vegetarian and vegan meals that my wife cooks, and we don't feel the need to often, maybe some breakfast sausage links or some veggie dogs for like a day at a picnic or something. But otherwise, we don't eat an enormous amount of the fake proteins, fake meats.
I love green bean casserole with the onions, the crispy onions on top. That to me is Thanksgiving, just with its, what is it, cream of mushroom soup, green beans, and just baked. That's
it, eh?
Yeah, that to me is, that says, oh, holiday meal.
I think it's the nice thing about potluck Thanksgiving dinners, to expose yourself to other people's ideas of, you know, this top quality product. You know, like
mine would be sweet potatoes volcano. It's the one meal that I make, and it's I think everybody makes it different. We use of course sweet potatoes and tons of sugar and butter, but the key for me is the topping. You know, the pecan brown sugar butter thing, and makes that crust. Oh my god, dude.
Yeah. See,
that's like dessert though.
Right.
Almost, but you can eat it with a bite of your tofurkey or turkey at the same time, and it's still enjoyable.
Yeah.
I've even had it with marshmallows that tasted good on top.
Yeah, we add the marshmallows at the very end too. Yeah, it's just like he said. It's almost dessert before dessert.
Mm-hmm. Were any of you guys the eldest that moved away from the kids' table before any of the other kids? Did any of you get to have that experience?
That was me.
Nice. I knew we were going to get one of them. That was not me. I was about like fourth, I think, in line of all the cousins and the brothers and sisters. You know, I was about fourth or fifth in line that when I finally got off of the kids' table. That's a huge transition in kid life, you know?
Well, you know, I was going to tell you guys something else, and I'm sure that there are plenty of people in this room that share this with me, but I want to say there's about 7 or 8 years on Thanksgiving that I didn't get to eat Thanksgiving dinner, and that's because the Cannabis Cup was always held during Thanksgiving, and there are no fucking ovens in Amsterdam kitchens, trust me. We couldn't find a place to cook turkey dinner nowhere.
Absolutely wrong. We had Thanksgiving dinners here every year of the Cup.
That's too bad I didn't get you invited one year at least, man, because it was Doug used to put together an amazing Thanksgiving dinner, and he basically got the whole thing. They're catering companies in Amsterdam that he would hire, and they would bring everything. It was really the only nightmare that ever came of it for me was eating. He did it one year right at our booths, and my booth was always right next to Doug's and Hempworks, Adam. They were my distributors, and I was their distributors, and we were always right next to each other at the cups, which was always fun. So often, one or 2 years, we did it right there. Boom, open big tables, all sat down. We're not even taking the booths down yet. Let's eat this meal. So we all ate this delicious meal. And I guess someone spilt their entire plate of gravy and turkey and cranberries and everything like on top of one of my, you know, those rollouts that you pull up and it's like a big.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess he just wiped it clean or whatever, but tons had like gone inside. So after I ate, I cleaned up my whole booth and put it all away. Well, next year when I pulled that thing out, when I got back to Amsterdam and pulled it up, holy shit, was it destroyed. It was nasty. I was like, nasty. But we had a lot of great Thanksgiving meals there. And I was saying earlier how it was kind of like, it was for me a way to celebrate American Thanksgiving. You know, I've got almost 20 of them under my belt, and I would not have had those under my belt had I not been to the Cannabis Cups.
All the dinners we had were definitely old school. They had turkeys.
That's cool.
I was always recovering. That was always too high at those cups, and you get so high from eating it. I remember when I got married. When I got married on stage, they had 1.5 pounds of trichomes in the cake. And
well, you just answered the reason why I couldn't find the turkeys. I was too fucking stoned, I guess.
Yeah, and you know what? For me, the reason I could find it is because it would happen basically right where I was standing the entire Cannabis Cup. All I'd have to do was sit at a chair. Doug would be like, here's a chair for you. By the way, Bad Boy's watching right now, and I've sent him the link. I'm trying to invite him in so he can say hi to you. I've even told him if he doesn't want to be on camera, do what Sam does. Show us a lovely piece of glass or a little stuffed animal from your stuffed animal collection. I know he has a huge one. I'm joking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still posting up Bad Boy's amazing TGA pictures on Instagram, so I'd love to say hello.
Yeah, he just said like, oh, ask Sub if he remembers the Thanksgiving dinner he made us in Winnipeg. He's like,
absolutely.
We're like, yeah, he's already mentioned it, dude. You got to get in here. There he is. There's Bad Boy. Right on. Got a little bit of feedback, so I'm gonna mute it. But then whenever you want to talk, oh, you unmuted it. Or put headphones in. So when you want to talk, just let me know. You want to say hi to Sub, I will mute my mic. Now you can unmute yours.
How's it going, Sub?
Dude, it's really good to see you, man. It's been a long time.
You guys want to give a little backstory, a little bit, whatever you can, in regards to sharing how you guys know each other?
You go for it,
yeah.
Sub.
Basically, back in the day before the wonderful world of legal cannabis, I was on the run, and the U.S. government gave me 18 years in a federal prison. So I think I did what any intelligent human being would do. I ran like a motherfucker, and I ended up in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and I met Bad Boy, and we hung out, learned to grow and everything. And kind of a weird end of the story. The last time I saw him face to face, he was coming over to watch movies and get stoned, and I opened the door to say hello, and there was about 30 Winnipeg cops with a ram standing there, and I didn't get to see Bad Boy that day.
Holy shit.
But I do got to say, this gentleman right here, you know, when they hauled me off on my clothes, I mean, everything I owned was in a couple of bags in some basement, and you know, Bad Boy scooped it all up and saved it for me and got it shipped to me down in the States safely. So the few things I owned from my childhood, that man put them in my hand.
That's awesome. Yeah, dude. Well, you know, he's like his company name, High Integrity. That's what we love about Bad Boys, high integrity. I'm glad you're sharing our space with us, dude. He's camera shy. He never comes on the cameras.
Good to see you, Ro.
Good to see all you two.
Dude, how about that piece of glass? Show that to me for a second. Jesus.
oh, you own that piece.
Dude,
that's heavy.
This dude has everything. You don't even. He's got some beautiful pieces of glass. Well, that he helps people find. He helps people get beautiful glass. He doesn't hoard them and keep them all. He gets them into the people's hands. He's gotten them into my hands. I thank him for it. High integrity glass art. For those of you in Canada looking for the ships, he's
Put
got.
that in my hands.
Yep. Totally. Awesome.
Well, hey, guys, I'll be right back. I'm gonna see if I can't rouse Miss Jill up. Maybe we'll say hey from the garden.
That'd be awesome.
Awesome. See you soon.
I'm really liking this Thanksgiving show, Todd. I know you're probably not listening or hearing because you're out doing something else right now, but fuck, dude, what a good idea. You know, like it's a good vibe to hang out with people when it's a holiday. Sunday at 9 in the morning is kind of like, we pull it off, but it is a little bit, I think it's time for a little dab a doodle. What do you guys say?
A little bong a ripping.
A little bong a ripping.
Bong
Everyone
rip.
keeps asking where Johnny B is. Where's Johnny B? Where is Johnny B?
Johnny B's having a good birthday month for sure. Surprise birthday party he had thrown. Well, he didn't have it thrown. He had got thrown for him. It was fucking pretty cool, I guess.
Oh, it was wonderful. Yeah, I got to be there for a little bit of it, and I have to say it was pretty darn fun. I tried to get a bunch of people out. I want to hit that unit right there, though. Such a sick piece of glass. Every time I go to his house, actually, I'll tell you that it's not like there's tons of them. There's always just like one perfect, beautiful, like it's like a different level of glass, really. Like it's art. It truly is art. I mean, I don't want to take away from all the glass being art. I guess there's levels to this shit. It's museum quality. That's what it is. It's museum quality art.
Functional art.
Yeah, art that should be protected, art that should be like looked out for, art that should be looked at much more than just a monetary cost or gain, or you know what I mean? Like it has to be more than just the money behind it. It's really like it's some next level shit. It's like Corning Museum shit.
Well, and that one's got the mother. I mean, the seed of life on the ball there, and it's also etched at the top and also at the base. Correct? It's cut through, so there's layers of glass.
Yeah, dude. Grind
that have been ground down.
Cold grind, exactly. Wow.
I don't like to smoke out of really fancy glass because I'm known as the glass destroyer. I've broken more bongs than anybody I know.
So did you hear that, Ro? When Sam's visiting next, we'll make sure to keep the clear pipes out for him.
Or like I did when you were at the Kaczynski Hotel in Amsterdam. I said, please, somebody came over with a 20,000 euro pipe, and I said, well, I'll smoke it, but you hold it. I don't want to.
Yep, I'm certain he got that pipe from him. Absolutely. What the hell is that? It's like a ball in a ball or something. It's like I don't even.
Ball fab.
It's the ball fab, right? I think there might be only one of those. I don't even know. I'm not sure. Crushed opal, whatever. Super ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crushed opal on the inside and the neck and the base.
And I'm assuming it's Deppy.
That is absolutely beautiful. Is that the glass that is called Deppy Dark?
No, Depe Darkness is a different color. This is crushed opal and cold working, rainbow cold working.
Do you have any in that color?
I did. I had a Klein before in the Depe Darkness.
What do you do with pipes like that when you drop them? Assuming they're broken.
Never happened before.
You have never broken a bong? Are you serious?
I have actually. Mark can
those.
talk about that one.
Yeah, but that's clear. That's nothing compared. Listen, he's talking about heady pieces like that. I love the fact right now that if you look at his screen, the Thanksgiving special show is showing up in the side of the ball, the fab ball inside. That's pretty fucking cool right there. I've seen one really nice one like the one you had, Ro. It was crushed opal. It was a bunch of white opal balls all around. What the hell was it? It was the ball and a ball like that. I took some photos of it near the ocean. There was one like that, similar, that got broken, and I saw someone posted it recently, and they had it fixed.
Yeah, Frank Neroni just got his fixed. There was a break on it, and now it's repaired.
Yeah, well, as I think I've told you, I broke my drizzle pipe, but luckily Rob Clark had another one, and he doesn't have much to fill it up with, so he lent it to me.
Is your diesel pipe destroyed, like not to be fixed, or can we fix it?
No, it can be fixed. Where it broke is fairly high up on the stem, and I just needed somebody who can work with glass, but I don't know anybody in Amsterdam. If anybody does, please let Bubble know who's a good person to work with glass in Amsterdam, because I don't know anybody.
Okay. I think you should clean it and we should send it to Nate Dizzle. That's my personal opinion.
I don't know where he is.
Hey, Ro, I have a question. Is that an opal in between the stem and the neck there?
Yeah, dude.
Yes, through the bridge.
Wasn't there another one you had where the opal was right at the bottom? Is that it? Yeah. Oh, fucking ridiculous. No shit. Etienne's just clapping, giving him the slow, silent, like.
Yeah, well, I was very fortunate, Todd, and I got to go to Mothership and got to actually hang out with those guys for some hours. And yeah, they're on a whole other level, and you get to see what they're actually doing. And they had just done a large color pull while we were right before we were there, and just to see the process, and now to see all the pieces coming from just the color pull and how they come out over time, and just it's really fascinating just to see that it's not only art, it's they take the time to do it. You know, it's a lot to, you know, the creation of just these pipes, and then these colors and these accents, and they're constantly pushing themselves. You know, that's what the great artists did back in the, you know, in the different movements. You know, when you had Impressionism, you had all these artists that were all hanging out together in France, and so for some reason the glass scene is what's out of Bellingham, and what they've been able to do and what they're constantly doing is really they're pushing each other. And that's the beautiful thing we're seeing in the glass world, is they art now, these artists have now at certain levels that they can now challenge and push each other in ways that new colors. And now you know, it's all about black light and all these different accent colors that are causing layering and changes in light and everything else.
Stratosphere moving parts in Stratus's glass, and they, you know, Bellingham, like you mentioned with Mothership, it started at least 20 years ago there when I first moved to Vancouver, and I accidentally met Marble Slinger and Jason Lee hitchhiking on Fish Tour, and picked them up and kind of got into this glass scene. And they were like, yeah, we got all these buddies, my buddy like Eli and Ezra, they're brothers, and they bought us all these torches. They bought these Herbert Arnold torches. No one even knew what a Herbert Arnold torch was. They were all on GTIs, and these guys had fucking Herbert Arnold torches, like 10 of these $2,500 torches back when. It was a major thing. And I met Zach accidentally also on Fish Tour in '95, re-met him in '98 as Slinger's roommate from Bellingham, Pedro Smiley, D-Rex, the whole slew of guys that came out of there, Marcel. It was an incredible moment in time to be around here in the 90s. 2 doors down, I used to have the most of those people come over. It took them about an hour to get from their house to my house, with just a border crossing in between. And it was amazing, the sessions we got to have. Those guys turned me on to glass, literally.
When did the glass industry actually start? Not for just a simple bong, but for, you know, rigs. I mean, do you have any idea? Was it 25 years or less?
Well, rigs are less, but if you're talking like pipes, you're talking Snodgrass was really the one to start to do the colored glass that was the exclusive pipe that, I mean, to my knowledge, back on Dead Tour,
That was it.
the high-end Dead Tour guys had, that, you know, the upper end dealers usually had. They had a protective pouch, and they would pull out this long wicked pipe, and it would change colors the more you smoked it. And that was really, I think, the beginning. And then I was very fortunate to work at the Galaxy Gallery, which was the first art gallery in Los Angeles on Melrose. And we started to sell the high-end worked pipes, the Snodgrass marbles, the Jerome Bakers, and things like that. And they had art in there, as well as it was a coffee shop and live music. Todd and I used to go down there all the time and hang out at the Galaxy. I mean, Todd could tell story. Todd was hanging out one time, telling the story you were hanging out smoking a joint out front, and this cop rolls by.
What year was that?
97.
Nice.
No way. Well, I was sitting outside with the guys at 311 because the bass player Aaron is a friend of mine from years back, and we were smoking a joint, and a cop rolled by on there. Two cops rolled by on their mountain bikes, and when they rolled by, I just took the joint and walked away because I knew they were going to come back. And when they came back, I was just, you know, the cops rolled by me and looked at me as dirty as they could look at me. And I just held up the joint, and I was like, smelling marijuana, and they're like, yes, you can't smoke that here. And I was like, oh, I've got a doctor's permit. And then we started having a conversation, and they were really nice about it on Melrose, and they said I couldn't smoke it anywhere. So they asked me to put it out, and they didn't give me any more shit, and they just rolled away. It was actually the first feeling of 215 actually making a difference and changing, if that makes sense. Because until you experience a cop letting you go for something you usually expect to get arrested for, you don't really feel like anything's different.
Who made the first glass pipe that you had to heat up with a torch so that it got?
Well, that's a tough gig, because there's a whole lot of different people have different histories with that in different groups. So, I mean, Snodgrass definitely was, we know in our group in the cannabis community, he was one of the first people for sure to take these Italian methods, melt metals into glass and create pipes and sell them on Dead Tour. From there, you know, there were definitely like,
HMK.
Well, okay, but I'm going to get to HMK. There were guys in the Kootenays called the Holy Smokes guys, Paul D. and Alan Middlemiss and Dustin Sunflower. And these guys had created a device along with their buddy Terry, who used to make a schwack of oil, and everyone loved this red oil, called the Mayor. And this was in the 90s, before HMK, 95, 96, 97 or whatever. And they created this thing called the Mayor, and it was kind of this like hillbilly, like jerry-rigged fucking MacGyver thing, which was like a glass pipe. But then the bowl had this kind of like spoon bent. The bowl was like a bell that went up and around, a glass bell that went down over top of this, like, it was before titanium. They were definitely using like a spoon or something, some sort of stainless steel spoon or something. And they had it mounted over top of a torch. So the whole thing was one unit. You could turn it on, it torched up the metal, it cooled down, you dabbed the oil, and it went up through this little pipe, and they called it the Mayor, and it used to just utterly destroy people. And I would be very hard set if Hashmaster Cut was asked where he got that idea for the swing, because that's what Ro just mentioned. The HMK Hashmaster Cut had these little tie swings that used to swing back and forth, and was very, very similar to the Mayor. They just weren't glass blowers. They just weren't turning it into a product. Breeder Steve popularized the Mayor, used to go around destroying people with it with his little honey oil jars. And it was the real deal here. Like, if you ever hit that thing, for us, that was the beginning of dabbing for us, and it was in the 90s. It was different from hot kniving or smoking oil, the different ways that we had been doing it. It was dabbing, and it became, from there, we saw a Hashmaster Cut, and then from there, it really kind of changed once, you know, the Mothership crew came out with the quartz swing. That was a pretty big game changer, and the OFZ, you know, this little unit right here that Ro was showing earlier, this little just...
Mine was the Task Rock with the highly educated it was originally kind of a screw nail, so you had to adjust it depending on your pipe and a dome. It was like 2011 for me was when I got my first rig. I went over to Todd's. Todd, you took pictures of it even on your table. We were trying. It was a Mobius with a dome, and yeah, you had to take the dome off, heat the nail up. Of course, you had to season the nail first, and you had to heat it up, and then you had to let it cool off. And then it wasn't for another couple of years. But then the Temple came out, which was the electronic, and then the D-nail in America. And I've been using D-nails ever since. And then there's mini nail as well.
Yeah, the electric nails were great. That was a game changer when the electric nail guys came out, and you had Task, and then you had D-nail, and you had Temple, and it just kind of blew up and turned into this whole, changed the way I puffed completely, because I was still on the beeline. You know, I found when I was of the Skunkman Sam school of let's just get it so fucking pure and amazing that even if you smoke it, you pretty much just vaporized it. Because
really,
things
that's
just
the
boil.
truth. The first 90% of your hit was vaporization bubble. Only maybe the last 10% was actually combustion.
For sure. And that was like, he was in this world that no one else was in. They were like, what the fuck? No, that's burning. It's like, no, you don't understand. This is like, no, I have dry sift. I smoke dry sift. I'm like, listen, you don't have, listen, this is not, you're playing checkers. I'm over here playing chess, completely different things.
The real reason I was asking this is because I was just trying to understand how far this goes back, vaporization versus combustion. Of course, we all know that hundreds of years ago in China and the surrounding areas, they were making opium pipes, and that uses vaporization. They put a little dab on top of where the hole for the bowl is, and then they would put it next to an opium lamp that issued heat from a little tiny flame. That was at the top of the lamp was the exact temperature to vape it.
And let us not forget the steam pipe, which from every person I asked in Jamaica, and I never heard hide nor hair of a steam pipe in India, they said the concept came from Africa, which surprises me because so much of the ganja culture in Jamaica seems to have come from India.
I'm very curious where the steam, I thought it was Jamaican. If it came from Africa, I want to know where.
The elders that I spoke with said that it was from Africa, that the knowledge came from Africa. And, you know, it was a few different places that were mentioned. I can't even remember. I just remember Africa. I also would very, very much like to know the history, if there is one, of the African steam pipe, because for sure the only steam pipes I've ever seen were from Jamaica. And the simplicity of this thing, giving the amazing steam rip that it gives, holy shit. And then the combination of going into Kingston and doing dub night at night with Kiddis Eyes. Huge blessings to Jeff I Free for hooking up the links with Kiddis. Such a fun guy to go into town and go to these dubs with, and going to the back where the Chalice station is and meeting Kevin and the other Rastas that are really heavy, serious steamers. These guys do not smoke joints. They don't burn generally at all. And to try and convince them, it was Tony actually who went there with the most beautiful 6-star bubble hash and pattied it all out and basically said, you know, he went to put it in the steam pipe. And the way the steam pipe works is there's a clay chamber inside that you put your herb in, then you put the heater on top, you put your coals on top of that, and you suck the air through the coals and it heats the material. Well, Tony wanted to put the material on the coals. And these guys are like, no, 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 no. Well, they didn't understand that even though it was going to be on the coals, because it was so pure, it was going to be basically straight vaporization. And I'll tell you, man, that changed the game at those dub nights when he did that. Because every time I went there afterwards, we were steaming by dropping big dabs on top of these coals, smoking it, vaporizing it through a bed of just, you know, the tastiest exotic Jamaican strains.
In China, when they made opium pipes for the rich, I mean, the poor, they just made it out of bamboo, but the wealthy would use jade, gold, etc. It's anything you can think of that's classy, they used. And some of these things must have cost a fortune, even when they were made, much less what they're worth now.
my mom of all people just messaged me, and she reminded me of a pipe she gave me when I was a kid. It was hers, but it was a piece of marble and wood, and it had 2 round chambers, and it had just a switch, you turn it on, and a light socket. And in the light socket was a ceramic heating element that was flat, and she used to put her hash on it. And what sat over that was just like a chimney from a glass, lighting lamp. And then there was a little tube that went from that into a soda bottle, at which had a water pipe, effect. And then you would pull on it, and you would just turn it on, and it would cook the stuff without, just direct heat. You couldn't control the heat at all. It just got red hot, but it worked really good.
The first pipe that I ever saw that did almost a vaporization was called the Tilt. And it was an inverted glass dome or plastic dome with a heating element. But if you put a hash on it, traditional hash, then one side would get overscorched and burnt, and the other side would not get combusted.
Hey, welcome, Jill. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. It's kind of cool to see you on the screen and think, man, I spoke with this chick online like damn near 20 years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Like, that was a long time ago. It's kind of cool that we've all stuck to our guns. We're still trucking along on our good mission, doing the good work of Jah.
Absolutely.
Well, it's good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Right on. See who's in the house?
What?
I think you can see Bad Boy.
He's in there. Make the screen big.
I got it.
Hey there.
I like that banger.
That light's bomb, man. Oh my God.
Dude, I know.
Let's get rid of Bad Boy.
What's that?
That's it.
I gotta mute my mic when you talk so it doesn't do a back loop. So I'm trying to be quick on it. So just bear with me. Bear with me.
I got it. You put your smoke?
I think it's time to blaze a little rip in for the true stoners, because that is the chat room that well, maybe not the first chat room. It's one
I
of
remember it.
one of them. True stoners. I've been puffing this whole time, by the way, without any water in my pipe, and it's been pretty darn enjoyable. Maybe I'll hit the straight fab real quick here. Boom, boom, shaboom. Oh, we almost rocked 2 full hours of our Thanksgiving show. Probably won't go much. Look at this nice little dab mat the guys at Root Sciences gave me today. Kind of cool, eh? Nice little one, just like fits the pipe like almost perfectly.
Had a little room and water, and I'll just carry the camera. It'd be cool.
Let's do it.
Water.
Let's do this. Sevens or what? It's about to get serious here. Oh yeah. A little bit of water.
Oh, what pipe is that? Oh, he's got the Swiss perk going on there.
There's a drizzle.
Oh, there's the drizzle. Clean that shit up.
This one is Rob's because I broke mine. I'm a master at breaking any glass bong.
Damn.
Water.
That's cool that Dizzle gave us all pipes that year. I still have mine. He gave myself, Rob, and Sam all Swiss perks. Generous. What do we got going on in the background?
Oh, it's just a little bit. It's time for us to water, so I just figured I'd do a little streaming while Jill waters the black cherry soda and all our different mothers. We're in the main mother room right now.
All right, cool. Well, you show us some plants. I'm going to mute it because it's got loud background noise, but I'd love to see the Gardin. Beautiful. I love that we have like a garden right now. Dee, weren't you like busting out some sift? Didn't you make some nice sift tonight?
Yes, I did.
Well, fucking A.
Hey, man. Nice stuff. Melty. Well, melty. Liquid melty. Like water.
That's cool that Stubbs got his lady to grow with him. That's really cool that they grow together. That's pretty fucking awesome.
Well, you know, the original Thanksgiving was really about the Indians teaching the new white people who had landed in America about the various food products that were available. Turkey, pumpkins, beans, et cetera, all came from the Americas. Whereas cannabis came from the old world. So I doubt they exchanged at that time, but now we can.
And we do. Not only can we do. And if you don't, you should. Hey, those are some interesting ones. You want to let me unmute you and you can tell me something. Oh, can I unmute you? I should be able to. No, I can't. That's weird. It usually lets me unmute people because I'm the admin, but I was going to have you tell me about. You can unmute yourself if you know how to on your phone and tell us what you're standing in front of there. He's like, I can't figure this bloody thing out. Back to Rose sick pipe. Oh, yeah.
I'm just staring at that ball.
I know. It's just ridiculous. I've puffed out of it. It's a real nice piece. Real nice piece. Yeah, look at that. That hole. Does that hole go like all the way through?
I do believe so.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So ridiculous, dude.
No, that's redonkulous. Ridiculous is for ordinary. That's a little above ordinary.
Yeah, I'll admit such things. I'll admit such things. I really want to have a nice glass show. I hit up Quave on Instagram the other day. I talked to D-Rex. I've talked to Slinger. Marcel, I know, is down. I don't even have to talk to him. But I want to get a whole bunch of different blowers. I want it to be a panel that's sort of, 4 or 5 spaces for the glass blowers to just come in and maybe have like 15 or 20 different ones that come in, have a few collectors. I'd love to have a really immersive glass show that talks about the history of the glass and the innovation and major crossroads and where things changed and elevated. And I just think it would be a really cool show. I don't think anything's been done like it. And it's something that I've been trying to manifest here for a little while. And I've got...
It needs to be done, man, seriously, because this is an art movement that is grown from, simple little pipes that now you're talking, 5-6 figure pipes. This is art, high-end artwork, that needs to be documented, needs to be discussed, and people need to see who these artists are and be aware of this art movement for what it is, because it's happening right now as we speak, and there's so much amazing art going on.
Who was the first to use quartz instead of regular glass? I know basilicite glass has been used for a long time, but who was the first to use quartz glass?
I would probably say, for me, it comes to mind that Germans probably figured that shit out before anyone else. But I know most of the nice quartz comes from Germany, but who's to know? I have no idea. Puke and Beagle is one of the first glass blowers that I heard the name of that actually specializes in blasting on quartz. It's different. It's a hotter flame, and I think it's a little bit more tricky to form and such. But good question.
The first bowl I bought was back in the 2001 or something like that. It was one of the earlier bowls for vaporizing that would fit a what is it? Those large air blowers. What were those hot air guns?
Yeah,
those adjustable Steinels. And so it was a quartz bowl that would sit on a. I got them from Jeff's place, the OCBC back in the day. What was that called? I can't think of the name of it, but that was one of the first quartz bowls that I had seen.
As far as I know, the first one to ever make a vaporizer using hot air was a friend of mine in Santa Cruz named Jeff. And
Wheeler?
What's that?
Was that Wheeler?
No. His name is Jeff Card.
What was the name of his unit?
He never sold them. I had told him about Jamaican steamers, and I said, I want the same thing, but I want you to do it with a little tiny miniature microwave unit to heat up the materials. And he couldn't do that, but he did come up with the hot air gun. And he was the first one, and he immediately showed everybody about it, and then the businesses took off. But he was never in the business. He was more of a creative type.
Right. Well, I'll tell you something interesting, actually, that reminds me of this. The Steinau gun was one of the first I had that I really loved with, meeting up with Mark McCoy from.
What year was that?
It must have been like 2001.
Yeah, no, I'm talking 85 or 84.
Yeah, no, that's before this. The earliest one that I saw would have been in the 90s, and it was, or sorry, no, it wouldn't have been. It would have been in 2000, 2001. Right after VripTech, I got turned on to this unit, which I'll show right now, and it was the first quartz that I saw. And the reason I tripped out on it was because, and there it is right there, it's called the Volatizer, and the guy's name was Jeffrey Wheeler. He was
That's it. That's the bowl.
Yeah, that's the Volatizer. So that bowl, though, this is an interesting thing. Mark's bowl was glass, McCoy from VripTech with the Steinau. And when I would hit this shit over and over and over again, at the end, you'd get a nice sort of orangey golden oil that would come out and condense inside the stem. And you could put a pin in there and get this literally solventless oil. It was the first solventless oil that I had ever experienced, and it was just so good. It was ridiculous. But when I got that Volatizer and started smoking out of it, and the way quartz holds heat and dissipates heat, I guess the glass rod was getting much, much hotter down here than the quartz. Quartz dissipates its heat immediately, and you can hold it on one end while it's red hot, really close on the other. So what happened was it was much, much cooler. It was condensing the material to a much clearer, and I could literally pull not gold, but clear oil out of that quartz bowl that I just showed from the Volatizer. I wish I knew where my Volatizer was, because it was a pretty cool little unit, actually. Not bad.
Yeah, that was a heavy duty bowl too.
Oh God, it was a super heavy duty quartz. Like, I bet you it was German, that bowl. I would be very surprised.
Yeah. All the best stuff is really German.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, like I said, this crazy unit that I was showing earlier, for those of you that missed it, the short path molecular distillation unit, obviously from Germany. VTA is the company, and Root Sciences is the company that has the worldwide distribution for cannabis and hemp processing. So if you guys have interest in a short path molecular distillation unit, contact these guys. They will sort you out. Pretty fucking crazy.
Thanks for sharing that today.
Yeah, and thanks you guys for coming in and doing it totally off the cuff, different from Hash Church, similar, same people, but with different conversation. We're able to, just talk about things a little differently, I think, without that sort of pressure of what Hash Church has become. It's like, I feel like it's like a responsibility now, and I just wanted to, follow through with Todd's idea, have a nice little Thanksgiving chill out, and why don't we take one more dab and call it a show? What do you say, guys? You down?
Bong rip, mother lovers.
That's what we're saying right there, D420K. Bong rip, mother lovers. Terp dip, double dip, triple dip, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever you got, man. Whatever you got. Oh, yeah. I'm ready for this. All right, maybe we'll go in a sequence. Who wants to go first? How about we go D? You ready? You go. You hit yours. We're going to do this in a nice order, even though there's only 3 of us. Unless Ro gets back and hits his after Etienne. So there's D. Now we got Etienne. All right. You want to go after me or before me, Ro? Heat that shit up. Get ready for your dab. You're going right after me. I'll go next. All right. And now it's Bubbleman's turn. Perfect background noise for this session. There's Sam I Am's turn. He just did his.
That was me coughing.
I know. Next up is Ro.
Hey, Todd, do your parting bong hit. Okay, joint hit.
Oh, that's even that works too, bro. Todd lights a fatty. Hey, Flav is in the house. Dude, you got to unmute that shit and say hi to us. Click the mute button so you unmute yourself. We want to hear from you.
Brother Flav. Awesome, man. Rowan Flav.
Hey guys, how's it going? You got a dap for me?
Right, dude.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone down in the States.
Fucking awesome, bro. Nice that you could show up. We got the chat room staying here to our Flav. People are calling out Flav.
It's like coming in late on a conversation.
Dude, I love that you made it in for a dab right before
Nice. Yeah, that's fucking pretty fantastic.
It's fucking awesome, dude. It's fucking awesome. How are things going over on the coast?
Oh, things are good. Just finished workup.
Raining like
day. That's about it.
Awesome. And you got a joint in your hand?
Yeah, and I got a joint in my hand that I probably should put out in roast, but
that reminded me of Kidasai. Kidasai would always be smoking his joints. He'd be like, "Get me a dab." And I'd be like, "Okay, I get the rig." He'd be like, "Okay." Then he'd hit it out, and he'd feel it minutes later.
and keep going. Yeah,
Damn
that's
awesome.
how it goes.
Well, I'm glad you came in for a sayonara rib.
Indeed. I
We're
hope
gonna
everyone
say
has a
bye.
good night.
So thanks, bro, for coming out. Thanks, Flav, for coming out. Hi.
You're muted, sir. You muted yourself.
I don't know how I muted myself, but what I was saying was, bad boy, how cool was that you got to meet up face to face with Subby and have him say some cool things. Very cool to fucking have you guys come in, dude. I just want to thank everyone for watching. 270 live viewers in the chat. Happy Thanksgiving. Stand tough. Stand tough, Standing Rock. We're behind you on this Thanksgiving. Peace out, everybody.
Much love.
Yeah.